Dear students, welcome to this MOOC. MOOC stands for Massive Open Online Course. In this MOOC, we shall be providing you a variety of multimedia enriched e-content, activities and assessments in a very learner friendly manner so that you are able to understand the various topics of this course very well. Let me now tell you briefly about the structure and main features of this MOOC. The entire MOOC has been divided into various weeks so that you can plan your learning in a very logical and systematic manner. It is advised that you must actively participate in the various components of this MOOC, that too regularly on a weekly basis. For every weekly schedule, you are first advised to watch 2 to 4 videos assigned to you per week. Then you must read the learning material provided as e-text and also go through other content in the Learn More section. After this, you are advised to carry out the various activities like taking part in the discussion forums, visiting the related web links which we have provided for you, attempting crosswords, etc., earmarked for each week. After this, to test your knowledge of what you have learned during this week, you must attempt the quiz in the assessment section for that particular week. I wish you all the best in this very interesting self-learning experience. Please remember, we shall always be there with you to provide you support for any problems you face. The MOOC coordinator along with junior faculty as tutor shall always be available to solve your queries which you can post in the discussion forums or you can send them to us through mail which shall be notified to you soon. We would be very happy to know your experience after the completion of this MOOC in the form of your feedback, which will help us enhance the quality of this MOOC further. So after knowing the general structure of the MOOCs, let us know what all will be there in this course of drugs of abuse week wise. Beginning with the week 1, we will learn about the fundamental of drugs, in which we will have the overview of drug usage and further see when a drug usage is turned into drug abuse. We shall be learning about some terms related to drug usage and drug abuse. In the second week, dear students, we shall be discoursing about the mind altering drugs and the emphasis would be given on opiates and its derivatives. This will include the introduction to opium derivatives as well as the forensic examination of opium derivatives. In the third week, we shall be discussing about the sedative categories of drugs which are also known as depressants. In this week, we shall be learning about the classification of depressants and after that the forensic examination of some commonly encountered depressants like benzodiazepines, barbiturates and alcohols. Stimulant drugs or uppers shall be discussed in the fourth week with a detailed discussion about, will be giving you general introduction and how they are classified. We shall also be talking about the mechanism and forensic examination of some commonly available stimulant drugs like amphetamines and its derivatives and other daily use stimulants like caffeine, nicotine and cocaine. Fifth week will be dedicated to the detailed study of the drugs having hallucinogenic properties. Subsequent to the introduction and classification of hallucinogens, you will learn about forensic examination of some commonly occurring hallucinogens like cannabis, psilocybin and lysergic acid diethylamide. In the sixth week, you will learn about the drugs occurring naturally and the drugs which are synthesized in the laboratories. Since the concept of designer drugs are more popular nowadays, we will be thoroughly discussing about the categories and forensic examination of some widely known designer drugs as well. As aspiring forensic scientists, it is very important for you to know all this in order to help you solve the forensic cases in a more methodical and scientific manner. Coming to the 7th week, we shall study about the psychology of drug addiction, and then we will discuss about the field investigation procedures for collection and preservation of drugs. Week 8 shall be actually a revision and assessment week for you. No new content will be provided. In this week, you are supposed to revise what all you have learned in this course and submit the assignment in time. Please note that the marks obtained by you in these assignments shall be counting towards your grades in this course. So, after the revision week, in the 9th week, dear students, we will learn about the laboratory procedures for the examination of drugs in a forensic science laboratory. And what all this will include? It will include the routine analysis of the acidic and basic drugs by preliminary test, as well as the instrumental techniques for their confirmatory tests. So, 10th week, as we move further, we will be focusing on pharmacodynamics of drugs, that is, it is the effect of drugs and the mechanism of their action. We shall further be discussing about the drugs used in facilitating the sexual offences, universally known as date rape drugs, and all this knowledge will be very helpful to you in solving cases of forensic science. We will further discuss about the forensic issues related to these date rape drugs and some common drugs used for drug facilitated sexual assault cases in the next week. Further, we will learn how to identify the drugs by various color tests and then the metabolism of drugs inside the biological system. Coming to the 11th week. In the 11th week, we will learn about the delinquency factor involved with the drug usage and its influence in the society and the legal repercussions supported by the statutory provisions. Coming to the 12th week, we will be concentrating on the methods of administration of drugs into the biological system and the extraction procedure of drugs for further analysis. Coming to the 13th week, you will learn about the drug dose response, which is the relationship between the exposure and health effect established by the quantification of the response relative to a collective dose. This relationship, dear students, is important in defining the toxicity of the exact substance. And in the end of the week, we will also discuss about the significance of alkaloids, its categories and their forensic examination. These are very important category of organic compounds which are, many of them are used as drugs. So, we will go into the detailed study of this. Coming to the 14th week, which is the last week of the study for you, we will be talking about the elimination of the metabolized drugs from the body and the case studies related to a drug abuse. So, dear students, after going through this, all this content, I am very sure that you will be having the basic idea about what are the drugs, how they are classified, the different structures and their identification, evaluation techniques in the lab, as well as how their metabolism happens, how their elimination and further their forensic examination. So, I am very confident that after going through this course, you will be a better forensic expert.